Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jason White and this is Jason's Weird Reads, and today I'm bringing you some Halloween books. There's 2 that I'm reading and 7 more that I would like to read before Halloween comes, which is probably not going to happen, but I'll probably get to at least one of them. So how about we get right into it, shall we? Alright, the 2 that I'm reading or have read, the first one I have read, I just finished it about a week ago, and that is October Roses by Mark Allen Gunnels. Now, if you've been watching my channel at all, you know that I have Mark on my channel quite frequently. And if you've watched my channel at all again, you've heard me talk about Mark Allen Gunnels, you'll know that Mark likes to write Halloween stories. He writes every year, I think around September and or October, he starts writing Halloween short stories. So long as he has time, of course. He doesn't have any other writing engagements. And this is a short novella. It's like on the shorter end of a novella, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good book. It was fun and it was very quick, and that was one thing I really enjoyed about it, was just how quick. There was no fluff. There was no extra fat. It's just straight to the point. Basically, it's a college story and a slasher story at that. But it wasn't bad. I really enjoyed the. I don't know if I should say it, because then that kind of spoils it. I enjoyed the ending. How's that? Moving on. I'm also reading right now Mr. Glowbones by Ronald Kelly. Last year, I listened to the audiobook of Halloween Stories by Ronald Kelly, and I absolutely enjoyed it. And you know what? This one is just as good, if not even maybe better. Something about Ronald Kelly's writing is just so marvelous. I just want to keep reading his short stories. He can be so cold and so vicious, and these stories are absolutely no exception. One of my favorites is actually the title story, which is the very first story, Mr. Glowbones, and it's basically about this. It's the only one I'm going to talk about, so I don't spoil the rest. I'm only about halfway through, so I haven't read all the stories. But Mr. Glowbones, the story itself, is about one of those cardboard cutouts that you could buy at, say, back in the day in Kmart or Walmart, and the bones are supposed to glow at night. And when he was the main story takes place from the father's point of view of a family, and he just moved into this old house that he used to live in when he was a kid. And while he's going through the attic, he comes across these glow bones, this cardboard glow bones that you hang up on your wall or whatever, or on your door. And he kind of freaks out a little bit, and he locks it back up, and he tells his wife about it, and she's like, okay, so you found these glow bones. What's so awful about them? And then he goes into the story of why these glow bones are. Mr. Glowbones are so terrible, and I'm not going to go into any farther in that because that will spoil the story. But it's a very fun story, and so are the rest. Like I said, Ronald Kelly can be very, very cold and vicious when he wants to be. Alright, so now I'm going to go into Halloween books that I still want to get to, and we're going to start off with a short story that you can buy for your Kindle. I don't know about Kobo or anything like that. It's a very short. It's a short story. It's 17 pages from what Goodreads said, and it's The Man Who Killed Halloween by Ray Garton. I'll probably read this after Mr. Glowbones. Here's the synopsis for that. Halloween, 1974. A gray and drizzly day in El Reno, Oklahoma, a suburb of Oklahoma City. Todd Strauss is dressed up as a pirate with a black cloth patch over one eye. His 6-year-old sister is a princess with a tiara made of Christmas garland and pipe cleaners. Horror will strike before the night is over, and the town will find itself gripped by a terror they have never known before. So I don't know if Ray Garton has a collection of Halloween short stories. This seems to be a thing lately, and I think that's great, because just like 4 or 5 years ago, we didn't have too many Halloween stories to read during Halloween time, and now it's coming. It's coming a lot, and that's great. Next up, I have This Is Halloween by James A. Moore. I have talked about this book before because I want to read it, and I just keep missing out every year. But I'm going to read you the synopsis again anyway. Author James A. Moore offers up 10 autumnal tales of darker things that lurk just around the corner of Indian summer. A man learns of a town's obsession with scarecrows and tries to find the answers as to why they are so important. Children move through familiar streets and find that Halloween makes everything different. 'Tis the season when ghosts are real, witches soar through the night, and things in Beldam Woods are not always what they seem. Sometimes it's the monsters that wear the masks. So that just sounds fantastic. It's another collection of short stories. Here's another one. My number 3rd book that I really want to get to. I bought this last year when it first came out. I think I got it like right before Halloween. And for some reason, I just no longer want to read Halloween stories right after Halloween up until Christmas. I'm fine with reading Halloween stories in the spring, but for some reason, once Halloween is over, that's it for me. So I didn't get to read this one, so maybe I'll get to it this year, who knows. And that's October Nights by Kevin Lucia. Here is the synopsis. It's another collection of short stories. Halloween is a night when anything seems possible. This is true everywhere, but nowhere more so than the small town of Clifton Heights. October nights here are long and strange, filled with both dread and transformation. And in these 4 shared worlds are tales of a small town Halloween horror. You'll encounter things both wondrous and terrifying in equal measure. So it's 4, I think, like novella length stories. So a priest hears a ghostly confession on Halloween night which will mark him forever. A young man is offered a supernatural chance to remake his fortune at the risk of losing everything. A pastor fleeing the death of his daughter comes to Clifton Heights to face his fears, but finds himself living in a nightmare instead. And 2 people with supernatural talents face off with an engine of darkness and pain on Halloween night. That last one sounds really, really good. So these are 4 connected Halloween tales evoking echoes of Ray Bradbury and Charles L. Grant, taking place in a town where every day is All Hallows Eve. Spend the Halloween season in Clifton Heights if you dare. All right. So that sounds awesome. Next up, actually, I did read a short story from this next one. It's another collection of short stories, but this is not a collection. It's an anthology of different authors. And it is What October Brings. And it's edited by Douglas Bra. And the first story is really, really dark. I was just like, holy cow. So basically, this is a bunch of Lovecraftian short stories during the time of Halloween, which to me sounds absolutely marvelous. So Halloween, a time for laughing children in white bed sheets and superhero costumes. A time for chocolate candy and pumpkins and trick or treat. A time for dark things, everything to slink out of the shadows and into our lives, reminding those unlucky few that our charades of Halloween cannot erase the centuries of history and pain behind the facade. What October Brings celebrates the dark traditions of the autumn rituals of Halloween and Samhain, and in homage to the uniquely fascinating fiction of H.P. Lovecraft. Masters of the short story offer you a once-in-a-lifetime trick-or-treat experience. Perhaps your last experience. I love the little endings of these. So far we've had like, perhaps your last experience, and if you dare. Those are fun. Alright, where was I? Okay, next up, I have Halloween Season by Lucy A. Snyder. So, synopsis for this. And all these covers have been so beautiful so far, haven't they? Alright, Halloween is the most important part of the year for many of us. For dedicated fans, the season begins when the leaves start turning autumn colors and doesn't finish until Hallowtide ends in November. With it comes the whole lot of fun. Scary movies and stories, haunted houses, seasonal sweets, spooky decorations, costume parties, and of course trick-or-treat. But Halloween is also a deeply spiritual time for some. It's an opportunity to remember and honor loved ones who have passed on. Master storyteller Lucy A. Snyder has filled her cauldron with everything that Halloween means to her and distilled it in a spellbinding volume of stories. Within these pages you'll find thrills and chills, hilarity and horrors, the sweet and the naughty. One of the best things about Halloween is you don't have to be yourself, so go ahead and try on a new mask or two. You may discover hidden talents with a witch, a pirate, a space voyager, a zombie fighter, or even an elf. This is the perfect collection to celebrate the season of the dead, or to summon those heady autumn vibes whenever you like. You may even find a couple of tales that evoke a certain winter holiday that keeps trying to crowd in on the fun. So, again, this is another collection of short stories, and I think I started it 2 years ago, but for some reason I never really finished it. I don't know why. Sometimes that just happens. Number 6 here, I have The Halloween Man by Douglas Clegg. This is, I think, is the only. No, this is one of two of the only novels that make this. This isn't a collection of short stories. Neither is the next one. So, first one is The Halloween Man by Douglas Clegg, and here is the synopsis. A mysterious New England village, a stolen child, an ancient ritual, a legend of shadows, a terrifying birthright. Who holds the key to the chilling mystery of Stonehaven and its desolate woods? And what unspeakable creature remains trapped within its summer mansion? From New York Times best-selling author Douglas Clegg comes a riveting, edge-of-your-seat supernatural thriller of overwhelming love and devastating terror. So that sounds very, very interesting. And next up is, and last but certainly not least, this one was just released just this year, I think like a week or two ago, and that is Halloween Slaughter by Sergio Gomez. So Halloween Slaughter is from the Slaughter books. This is book 2. Book 1 is Camp Slaughter, which I read. I read it in 2020, I believe, and I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. It was pretty twisted, and so I'm really, really looking forward to reading the sequel here. It's the long-awaited sequel to Camp Slaughter. A cannibal terrorizes a small town in northern PA. That is the only synopsis it gives me here, and I'm really looking forward to reading this. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm assuming it takes place during Halloween, and it has I imagine, the same cannibal family that's in the first one. All right, so that is my Halloween reading for 2022, which 2022 has been one hell of a year so far. It's been kind of a Halloween story all on its own, which is to say it's been a bit of a horror story. 2020, 2021, and now 2022 have been pretty weird years, but I have to say this one has topped the cake. All right, so thank you for watching. Keep being safe, keep being creative, and I'll catch all of you in the next bookish video.